She started locking her phone at the table. Not just face down, thumb to the screen, hold, flick, like she was entering a vault. I'd come in after a 10-hour day with drywall dust on my boots, and she'd be on the couch, glow on her face, shoulders hunched. If I said hey, she waved at the air like I was a fly. That was new. Dinner's in the fridge, she'd toss without looking. Together? I tried the soft pitch. I'm not hungry. That first week, I ran errands, cooked, even bought the good candles from the grocery aisle where they push seasonal nonsense. I set the table. She ate in silence, eyes on the phone like it was oxygen. When I asked about our Saturday hike, she blinked slow. I'm busy. At what? Jake, I'm just tired. Of me or of life. Don't make it a thing. I kept waiting for the reset. 2 nights later, she came home late, dumped her tote on a chair, screen already in her palm. You good? I asked. I need time. Her thumb floated over some notification. I need to be with myself. You're married to me, I said. That includes me. She sighed. Please don't start. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have skipped the candles and gone straight to the locksmith. I backed off from speeches and tried actions that used to work. Flowers on the counter. A reservation at the little place where the waitress knew our order. I suggested a walk after dinner. Walk by yourself, she murmured, scrolling. Lauren, I said, staying even. We haven't done anything together in weeks. I know, Jake. I'm telling you what I need. Which is space. From your husband. Don't be dramatic. I leaned on the doorframe. There's dinner, and there's a marriage. Both are about showing up. You haven't been showing up. Her eyes flicked up, then back down. I'm exhausted. I nodded, filed it. The next night, I set dinner down at 6 sharp, placed my phone on the counter, and took a seat. She sat, held the fork, and kept her other hand under the table. I heard the buzz. I looked at the utensil drawer, then back at her. New rule, I said. If we're eating together, the phones stay out of reach. If you need yours, I'll eat on the porch. I'm not competing with a screen. She bristled. You can't make rules for me. I can set rules for my time. You want to eat with me, you get me. You want the phone, you get the porch. Pick. God, you're controlling. Stating how I spend my own dinner is control? That's cute. She exhaled through her nose, slid the phone onto the counter like it burned. 2 minutes of small talk. Then her head tipped toward the glow again. I carried my plate to the porch. No lecture. Just consequence. She watched me through the glass, then went back to scrolling. Afterward, I loaded the dishwasher, grabbed my work bag, and planned the next move. At lunch the next day, I sat in my truck with a turkey sandwich when Marcus, my foreman, knocked on the window with a knuckle. You look like a guy who needs more than mustard. Ever feel like you're paying rent in your own house? I asked. Marcus shrugged. I sleep in my garage when my teenage son gets moody. Saves lives. I'm trying the grown-up version, I replied. Boundaries instead of a blow-up. I ordered 2 round-trip tickets to Paris that afternoon. It wasn't a grand gesture in my mind. It was logistics. Change the scenery, cut the noise, 2 people in a city that forces you to look up. I put the confirmation in an envelope, wrote her name, slid it under her coffee mug at breakfast. What's this? She asked, hair up, robe tight. Open it. She tore the flap, scanned, blinked. Paris. 7 days. Walks. Museums. No phones at the table. We'll do our own tour. No lines. She kept reading. Mouth flat. It's us time, I added. You said you're tired. I'm handing you air. Her jaw moved. Then she looked at the sink. Jake, I don't want to go with you. I didn't blink. Run that again. I don't want to go with you. Can I take Tasha? I let the quiet sit. You want me to fund your vacation with someone else? She's always wanted to go, and you know we haven't been aligned. I slid the envelope back, folded it. You just told me you need space. I'm giving you France. And you want a +1 that's not me. It's not like that. It is exactly like that. But here's what's going to happen. I placed the envelope in the drawer. I'm not canceling the tickets. If you want one, take one. Book your own return. The second ticket is off the table. She stared. You can't. I can decide what I finance. Consider it your, with yourself, time, scaled. I'll be here, working. When you're gone, I'm moving into the guest room. I'm separating bills. There'll be a calendar invite for who uses the car when. You want space? You'll get it with a schedule. Are you punishing me? I'm protecting me. She looked stunned, then rallied. You're being uptight. Or I'm showing you where the floor is. She pushed away from the table. I need to think. You do that. And take the charger with you so you don't trip over my respect on your way out. She walked down the hall. I took my coffee outside and called the bank. Separate account. Direct deposit split. My schedule shifted to early starts. I told Marcus I'd be on site at 7 from now on. Off at 3, gym after. No time for limbo. That night, as I set my pillow in the guest room, she appeared in the doorway with a cup. I made tea, she said softer. I know I've been distant. True. I'm just overwhelmed. Work. My mom. I snapped earlier. You didn't snap? I said. You showed a preference. I shouldn't have said with Tasha. That was lousy. I agree. Can we reset? We can be civil, I answered. My plans stand. She picked up the spare blanket, folded it. After the trip, we can talk. After the trip, I echoed and turned off the light. She left on a Thursday, rolled her suitcase to the Uber and waved like a neighbor. I kept the porch light off. While she was in the sky to somewhere, I changed the lock code, updated the Wi-Fi password. Wrote both on a note in the kitchen that said, text if you need access. Not spite. Clarity. 2 days later, I took my grocery list to the discount market across town that sells produce no influencer would photograph. I was debating 2 sorry tomatoes when I heard a voice. Jake. I turned. Tasha. Same long bangs, same denim jacket I'd seen 100 times at our cookouts, holding a basket of onions. She looked confused, then concerned. Hey, I said neutral. Aren't you supposed to be in Paris? She asked. I could ask you the same. Her brows pinched. What? You and Lauren, I said. The trip. She blinked a few times, like she needed to refresh. What trip? The one you always wanted. That you're on right now. According to my wife. She went pale. Jake, no. We stood next to the tomatoes while a kid stacked avocados like grenades. Tasha set her basket down. She told me you were going. I said. I didn't even know she had tickets, she whispered. She fumbled for her phone. Hang on. She scrolled, then held it out. Messages. Weeks of my wife working the narrative like a pro. If Jake asks, I'll say I'm with you. You'll say we're at the museum. From Lauren. A selfie of Lauren in a bathroom mirror, captioned, made it early. A photo of a boarding pass. Not Tasha's name. Who's this guy? I asked. Her thumb hovered. I don't know him. Wait. She swiped to a picture. 2 suitcases on a hotel rug, 2 pairs of shoes. One set not mine. Tasha swallowed. Jake, I'm sorry. Not your lie, I said. But your name's on it. I had no idea she'd use me like that. Seems she needed a cover. The kid stacking avocados dropped one. It rolled to my boot. I picked it up, set it back. Tasha looked like she owed me a blood transfusion. Don't do that face, I said. It's a simple chart. She chose to go one way. I'm going another. How are you even standing here calmly? She asked. Couple reasons. 1, I like facts. 2, I don't perform pain for strangers. 3, I've got groceries to buy. She huffed a laugh. That's very you. A bell rang at the register. We moved to the end of the aisle. Can you send me those? I asked, nodding at her phone. She nodded. All of it. And meet me for coffee later. I want to hear how the story got built. Jake, I feel awful. Don't. But buy me a coffee, and you can feel slightly less awful. She shook her head, smiling despite it. Text me a time. 7, I said. The diner off 5th. I loaded the cart with onions I didn't need and checked out. In the parking lot, I sat in the cab and watched 3 years of We're Good fold like a cheap chair. I didn't rage. I made a list. 1. Back up the house cameras. 2. Pull phone records. 3. Book a consult to process paperwork. Quick and clean. 4. Pack essentials into the truck. 5. Call my sister for the spare bedroom if needed. By the time coffee rolled around, Tasha slid into the booth with a look that said she'd been replaying everything. Bev, the waitress with the eagle tattoo, brought mugs without asking. You two look like you're fixing something or breaking something, she said. Both, I replied. Pies are half off, Bev added, and floated away. Tasha pulled up the thread again and walked me through it. How Lauren started getting cagey at girls' nights. How she asked innocuous questions that lined up with the fake alibi. How she stopped mentioning me altogether. Then the kicker, a screenshot of an itinerary. 2 names, neither mine. A hotel. A date range matching our tickets. I studied the phone. She got bold. She used me. Tasha said, anger finally outrunning embarrassment. I defended her to people. I told our friends you were stubborn, that she needed space, that you were being a lot. I sipped coffee. I gave her space. She used it as a runway. I'm sorry, Tasha said again. You also caught it, I countered. That counts. She looked at me a long beat. Then do something about it. I am. Good, she said. Because watching you get treated like furniture is not on my schedule. Appreciate the phrase. She smiled, lifted her mug. Forget her, she said, and that line dropped like a switch in my chest. How about dinner with me? I studied her, head tipped. Bold move. It's not a move, she answered. It's dinner. Two people who aren't liars. We can talk about weather if you want. But I'm not going to sit here and watch you twist yourself into a knot to protect someone who just used my name as a mask. I rubbed my thumb along the coffee handle. You sure you're not just trying to rewrite a bad day? She didn't blink. I know what I want. What do you want? I want silence at my table, I said. Honesty in my house. And somebody whose phone isn't a third person in every room. That can be arranged, she said. Thursday, I agreed. No Paris required. After the diner, I stopped at an office supply store, bought a thick black folder with tabs. At home, I printed what Tasha sent, added what I pulled from the shared account and the phone bill. Times, dates, gaps where there shouldn't be gaps. I didn't add commentary, just a sequence you couldn't talk around. The folder sat on the dining table like a brick. Next morning at the yard, Marcus saw the look on my face and didn't ask dumb questions. You need hours or you need a day? He asked. I need the afternoon, I replied. I have some life to rearrange. Handle it. At lunch, I called a notary. I set up a storage unit for things that were mine and had value to me. I moved my tools, my grandfather's fishing rods, the photo box. I put her boxes in the garage neatly with labels. I took my name off a couple of auto drafts and sent her a text. Bills will be split from today. You'll see updates in the shared email. She sent back a single bubble. Can we talk when I'm back? We'll talk when you're in the kitchen, I replied. No more philosophy. I made dinner alone, ate on the porch, slept fine. Thursday night, I met Tasha at a place that served meatloaf and green beans without apology. We talked about work, families, music. No autopsy of the marriage, just two adults who knew the same people and were tired of pretending. She was steady, didn't flinch when I went quiet, didn't poke. When she laughed, it wasn't aimed at anyone. When she listened, she put her phone face down and never touched it. At the end, she said, walk. We walked 2 blocks like neighbors. At her car, she looked at me, not through me. This is simple, she said. I like you. If this is too soon, say so. I won't take it personal. It's soon, I said. But it's honest. That's better than late and fake. She nodded. Text me tomorrow. When I got home, the folder on the table looked larger. I placed the papers on top. A simple set of forms, a list of assets already separated, dates for a storage pickup, and my letter. It had one line. My respect has requirements, and I won't negotiate them. She landed the next day. The Uber pulled up. She came in with a suitcase and a smile you rehearse in the bathroom mirror. Hey baby, she said. I locked the door behind her. Kitchen, I said, and motioned to the table. She dragged the suitcase to the wall, glanced at the counters. You changed the candles. I changed a lot. She sat. I slid the folder across. She opened it. Papers, photos, times. The air didn't move for a minute. What is this? She asked. Documentation, I said. And a path. She swallowed. Jake, this is not what you think. What I think doesn't matter. The facts do. I was confused, she offered. Confusion doesn't book hotels. I'm under pressure. Pressure doesn't hide behind a friend's name. She looked up then, eyes bright with effort. Please, I'm asking for a chance to explain. You had weeks to explain, I answered. You explained with your feet. It was a mistake. More than one. I'm lost. You traveled with a companion, I said, choosing words like I was reading a manual. That was your map. She reached across the table, palm up. I can change. People change when the cost changes, I said. Here's the new cost. We're done. Don't do this. I leaned back. Lauren, when I cooked, you scrolled. When I bought tickets, you asked for a substitute. When I asked for respect, you called me controlling. The only variable I haven't adjusted is access. That ends now. You're throwing away our marriage for a trip, she snapped. I'm closing a chapter because you closed the door and put a chair under the knob. She blinked, then tried a different script. Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lied about Tasha. I was scared. We've been distant, and I panicked. Please, let's go away together. We can still use the other ticket. We can. That isn't a ticket. I cut in. It's a receipt. She pushed the folder back like it might bite. What do you want me to do? Read the letter. Sign where the flags are. The notary is coming at 6. At 6? Today. Panic cracked through. Yes. I need time. You used it. Sign. Or don't. I'm not debating. She stood, circled the island, touched my shoulder. That used to be a reset for us. A hand to the shoulder, a breath. Now it felt like a knob turned down too late. Jake, she whispered, leaning closer. Please. I'll shut everything down. I'll be present. I'll make it right. Good. Practice with yourself. Her eyes flashed. How can you be so cold? Clarity looks like cold when you've been living in fog. There was a knock at the front door. Mrs. Green from next door, holding a package. Sorry to interrupt, she chirped. They delivered my vitamins here again. I opened, took the box, and handed it over. She glanced past me and saw Lauren at the table with the folder. Oh, she said, sensing a story. Bad time. It's fine, I said. Just handling house business. I always said nothing good happens with secrets, she offered, then realized she'd said it out loud. Okay, I'll go. Thanks, Mrs. Green. I closed the door. Lauren glared. Great, she snapped. Now the neighborhood knows. Truth has a way of leaking, I said. Sign. She picked up the pen, set it down. Picked it up again. I won't sign tonight, she decided, trying to reclaim ground. I want counsel. Get it. I'm moving to an apartment across town for a month. The lease starts tomorrow. Your things are labeled in the garage. You can schedule a pickup for Saturday. Use the shared calendar. You're leaving me? I'm leaving the place where I'm treated like furniture. She grabbed the pen like it was a lifeline. I need a week. You have until noon tomorrow to decide if this is a handshake or a shove, I said. Either way, my direction doesn't change. She stared, then knocked the paper's askew with the back of her hand. There it is, I said, calm as a lake. The reflex. You're impossible. No, I'm done. That night, I slept at my friend Aaron's above his garage. In the morning, at the job site, Lauren showed up at the fence at 9 a.m. The crew looked at me, then at her. Marcus muttered, You want me to run interference? I've got it, I said and walked to the gate. I'm not signing today, she announced, chin up. You can't force me. You're right, I said. I can't. I can only force my own feet. Can we talk privately? She pressed, glancing at the crew. I shook my head. No. Work time is work time. If you need to communicate, email. I'll respond within 24 hours. In person is off the table. Jake, don't you dare embarrass me. You did that work on your own, I replied, voice steady. This is a boundary. You sound like a therapist. I sound like a man who knows his limits. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but I won't regret acting like I matter. She took a step closer. The sight dog, a lazy pit mix, lifted his head. I nodded at Marcus. He drifted over, arms like tree trunks, and just stood. A public line drawn. Lauren looked from me to him to the men on ladders watching without hiding it. Email, I repeated. No more drop-ins. She left with a stiff spine. Marcus exhaled. That was clean. Had to be. Need the afternoon? He offered again. I'll take lunch, I said. I've got a truck to load. At noon, Aaron helped me. We lifted the heavy stuff, left the shared furniture. I left a set of keys on the counter with a note. Move out schedule in your inbox. I took the folder with me. That night, Tasha called. How'd it go? Direct, I said. You okay? I feel like a guy who walked out of a noisy bar, I answered. Ears still ringing, but the air's better. Come over, she said. I made chili. I'm not eating my way through this. It's just chili. You can talk or keep quiet. Your call. I drove over. We ate at her tiny table. She didn't ask for details. When I reached for my water, she also put her phone face down and didn't touch it once. We watched a baseball game with the sound low and laughed at the bad plays like regular people. The next morning, Lauren's email hit at 8. It was a manifesto. You're abandoning me. You set impossible standards. You made me feel trapped. The usual boomerang where your clear line becomes a hand around her throat in the retelling. I replied with 4 sentences. I'm not available for blame. The facts are in the folder. If you want to discuss logistics, list them in bullet points. Saturday between 10 and noon still works for pickup. She sent 3 more paragraphs. I didn't answer. Silence is a powerful tool when you're not trying to win anything. Saturday, she texted that she'd be late. I replied with 1 line. The garage closes at noon. She arrived at 11:40. I opened the door, nodded to the boxes, stood by the workbench. Her friend Christy helped, avoiding my eyes like I was an X-ray. Lauren kept talking while lifting. "You're being cruel," she tossed. "I'm being specific," I replied. "This is just a phase," she tried. "This is a conclusion. My mother is upset. Tell her I appreciate the casserole." "Can we at least have dinner next week?" To process. "No." "Why not?" "Because my dinners are for people who are present." She glared at the labels on the boxes, then said, "You'll come back." "I won't," I said, and meant it in my bones. When noon hit, I closed the garage as scheduled. She rolled her eyes, but the door came down. Rules are rules. Over the next days, Tasha and I kept it simple. A walk here, a movie there. She didn't ask for status updates on the paperwork. She asked about my workday, about the deck I was building for an older couple who bickered like teens and loved each other like teammates. She told me about her job at the clinic, her brother's terrible taste in wallpaper. Normalcy felt like a clean shirt. One evening, over takeout, she reached across and tapped the folder I'd tossed on her coffee table. "You still need this?" she asked. "Until the signatures are inked," I said. "Then it's just history." She studied me. "You look lighter." "I am. I meant it at the diner," she said. "I'm not here to be a rebound. I'm here because I like you. If this stalls, I'm not going to chase. But I'm also not going to pretend we aren't good together." "I don't pretend anymore," I said. "I like you too." She smiled. "Then let's build steady. No theater." "No theater," I agreed. The final round came on a Wednesday afternoon when Lauren showed up again, this time at Tasha's place. She knocked like she owned the building. Tasha opened the door, didn't invite her in. "I need to talk to Jake," Lauren said, scanning past her. Tasha's voice stayed even. "You can email him." Lauren's eyes cut to me on the couch. "You're really with her now? After everything?" I stood, walked to the door, but not through it. "Don't talk to her like that." "She was supposed to be my friend," Lauren shot back. "She is your friend," I said. "She just refuses to lie for you now. This is humiliating." "Then stop doing humiliating things." She drew in a breath, squared her shoulders. "Last chance. Come home. We'll reset. I'll do whatever you want. We'll plan a trip." You keep offering trips," I said. "I'm not for sale." She opened her mouth, closed it. "Here's how this ends," I continued. "Keys are on the counter at our house. You'll find a note with utility info. I won't be there. There's nothing to fix. There's only closure. You were supposed to fight for us," she said, voice small. "I'm not a prize fighter," I replied. "I'm a builder. And I don't build where the foundation is cracked on purpose." She swallowed, glanced at Tasha, then at me. "You'll miss me." "I'll miss who I thought you were," I said. "But that's a ghost. I don't entertain ghosts." She stared another beat, then turned on her heel and left without another word. Tasha closed the door gently. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. That was the point of no return. "You handled it clean." "I had practice," I said, and sat back down. 2 weeks later, I loaded my tools, clothes, and that folder into the cab of my truck and headed west with Tasha following in her car. We weren't running. We were relocating. A carpenter can work anywhere. A decent man can love anywhere. We found a small place near the edge of a city where the air knows how to mind its business. The house had a porch big enough for 2 chairs and a table. I built a rack for Tasha's bike and a shelf for the spices she actually uses. She painted the kitchen a calm color. We lived quiet. We cooked and ate at the table with our phones somewhere else. And if one buzzed, we let it ring. Work came quick. People always need someone who shows up on time. I picked up a used SUV in good shape and tuned it myself on Saturdays. Aaron visited and shook his head at how relaxed I looked. Marcus sent photos of the crew grilling on payday. My sister mailed me a photo of my niece in the shirt I bought her. Life moved forward like it's designed to when you stop standing in your own doorway. As for Lauren, occasionally a message would pop up in the inbox I now checked weekly. It always started with "I was thinking about" and ended with a soft plea for a meeting. Sometimes there'd be a social update through the grapevine. She moved apartments twice, hit a rough patch at work, fell out with Christy over a misunderstanding. I didn't celebrate any of it. I just noticed the pattern. You can't sustain a life built on pulling levers and hiding wires. Eventually, the stage lights burn out, and you're left with yourself. Last Saturday, I set 2 plates of pancakes on the table, and Tasha came in wearing one of my old work shirts like a victory flag I didn't earn with anything but good behavior. "You're smiling," she said. "I like this morning. I answered. She poured coffee, pushed the sugar toward me. What's the plan today? Finish the porch swing for Mrs. Alder. Take a drive. Maybe hit the trail. Simple, she said. The best things usually are. She touched my wrist. You know, for a while you sounded like a man who was ready to live with less. Less noise, less drama, less everything. I'm glad you chose more of the right things instead. I chose respect, I said. Everything else follows. I still don't do big speeches about healing. I don't pontificate about forgiveness like I discovered a new vitamin. I just do what I said I would. I keep my rules simple and my access earned. The last time I saw the folder, it was in a banker's box labeled Old Papers, shoved behind a stack of screws in the garage. It didn't feel like a trophy. It felt like a manual for a job I finished and did right. Precise cuts, clean edges, no gaps. When I left the house for a service call that afternoon, I paused at the front door. Tasha called from the kitchen. Need anything? Yeah, I replied, smiling. Save me a seat at dinner. You got it, she said. I locked the door behind me. No drama, no speeches, just a man who learned to only build where people speak plainly and show up. And if a phone buzzes while we're eating, it waits, because respect is the meal, and I don't put it back in the fridge.